All right. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. So thanks for joining me here today. It's been a bit of a quick, hectic morning here. Lots of stuff going on. So I'm a little bit, I don't know, I'm ready, but you may see me kind of moving things around. First of all, I changed the subject for today. So hopefully you stick around. So I had to do that because we got something on the lathe here that needs to get taken care of. By the way, my name's Todd Rains. Welcome to my shop here in Allen, Texas, and welcome to All Things Woodturning. We're going to talk about bowl coring today, and I'll talk about that in just a second. But I want to say hi to a few people that joined us here in the comments and chat. Mike McEwen, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Roger, good to have you here. Hans from over in Holland, thank you for joining. Great to have you here. Let's see, David Perez up in the Pacific Northwest. Thank you for joining. And Cindy is here. Yes, happy Friday, everyone. So let's see, where am I at here? Peter is here. Thank you for joining from Ontario. Michael, Illinois, and Eric from Texas, fella. Good to have you all here. So appreciate it. It's a smaller crowd today. I changed the subject, so maybe that was part of it. It's also, I don't think I emailed. Did I email everybody this morning? I think I probably did, but so that's another thing. I'm not sure. It was a busy week with emails and stuff, but we're going to get some stuff done here today. Let's talk a bit first about what's coming up. But first, let me say, this is how we keep in touch. So if you have questions afterwards or anytime in the future, email me, call me, put a contact form on the website. The QR code up there is for the newsletter. So if you want to get informed about these events and the event tomorrow and other events coming up, as well as specials and stuff like that, let me know and or sign up for the newsletter and let me know if you have any questions. So here today, certainly if you have questions, let me know in the chat, in the comments. I'm going to go through what I'm going to go through today and maybe a bit more speed than I might do in a normal sort of demo, if you will. So stop me along the way and chat. We'll find answers, if not from me, from somebody else in the crowd. So Cindy is here. We'll see her here. Let me just bring her up. So first of all, let me say Cindy's bi-weekly live stream is on Friday at the same time. We've synced our times to 1 p.m. Central. And the QR code there is for her newsletter. So you get informed on when she goes live. She's going live next week. So Cindy, welcome. Did you have something in mind for next Friday?
For next Friday, for my live stream. Oh, right. Boy, I'm not thinking that far ahead. No, as a matter of fact, I'm looking for suggestions, and I'm sure I'll come up with something. It'll be the day before my IRD on mushroom boxes, so it might be a little bit related to that. Maybe I'll show off that threading jig.
Oh, well, that's kind of cool. Let me just switch slides here. For some reason, I have a still of my background, so this is what my shop looks like when the green screen is up. But here's what we also want to talk about, which probably is on top of your mind now, is vendor showcase. So I'm small on the screen so you can see this QR code. QR code is again a registration code, or it takes you to a registration site to join Sprint vendor showcase. So that's happening tomorrow, and part of the reasons why I'm doing this today is I didn't have everything set because I'm doing stuff for tomorrow. So yeah, vendor showcase. You want to say a few words about vendor showcase?
Well, I am working on a collaboration with Lyle that'll be in the charity auction tomorrow, and this is fun. It's going to look like not what you're used to from Lyle. So stay tuned and check it out. Yeah, this will be fun.
Yeah, so that's a good segue. The vendor showcase, we do mini demos, we do talk about tools, have weekend specials. But the big thing is we have a charity auction. And what Cindy was talking about is a collaborative she's doing with Lyle that will be up for auction tomorrow. So it's a great place to get unique items from each one of us vendors, myself and Cindy and Lyle and Joe and Steve. So yeah, I've got mine sitting over there. We'll see.
Oh, you gonna give us a preview or not?
No, I'll tomorrow. So same as you, I'm not really talking, but they're well done turnings from all of us, typically, in that we raise money for the charity. The charity today is St. Jude's Medical Research Children's Hospital. St. Jude's Children's Medical Hospital. If I'm getting that right, I'm not quite
Children's Medical Research Hospital.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You told me.
It is.
All those words, too many of them.
I know. And I had. Oh, I did. I put it over here. Let me see if I'm just going to do this now. So did I do it in here? Yeah, our charity for this event, St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. That's it. There's the donate button. So you'll see that streaming tomorrow on our vendor showcase live stream. So that is going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to it. So please sign up if you haven't already. Should be a lot of fun. And raising money for a good cause. So hopefully we get a $1,000, $2,000. So all right. Any other news, Cindy? You've got something next Saturday, a week from tomorrow.
Well, I do have something next Saturday. I'm doing an IRD on mushroom boxes, and I've done mushroom boxes before, and it's a great thing, a fun project, lots of options, but I got some new options I'm working on for gilding the natural edge and threading with this threading jig that I have, although it's optional to do the threading. I think I'll do one with and one without, and some different ways to orient a natural edge on a mushroom. So lots of fun. Yeah.
And I got the date right, April 12th.
April 12th. And it's
1 p.m. Eastern?
No, it's 2 p.m. Eastern. It's 1 p.m. Central.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, let me, I'll throw some links in there when I'm not on screen anymore. Okay. And
yeah, that would be good.
Yeah.
Well, good stuff. We'll see emails about that, I'm sure, from you and probably from me. So, join up to not this QR code, but the newsletter on either of our websites, and you'll get notified. So, good stuff. All right. Well, I think that's all I had in terms of banners and stuff. So I'm just trying to find the right button here. There we go. Big again. So thank you, Cindy, for joining me, and we'll see you tomorrow, I'm sure. So stick around, though.
See y'all tomorrow.
Yep. All right. So we are here, and I'm going to switch over to overhead camera. I'll get small again, actually. This is the reason why I changed the topic for today to bowl coring instead of turning the tenon off a bowl, because this guy, if you look at it closely, is a little bit, it's been sitting in plastic bag for about a week, and it got a little bit of powdery mold on there, and so it was sweating badly this morning, so I took it out of the bag about a couple hours ago, and I had it prepped for a demo I did to a local club, and so I thought, well, I better turn this one, because if I don't, it's going to all rot out. It's from a silver maple tree that I got 2 houses down. The arborist came and they dropped logs off of my driveway after I went over and chatted them up. And so it's got some nice spalt in there, and some of this orange yellow spalt really just happened over this last week because it's stuck in a bag. So otherwise, it's been sitting in the log form for the last year, almost a year, and cut it up a week and a bit ago. Actually, just a week ago. No, week and a bit ago. Anyway, and so it had some spalting on it, some of the black spalting on it as I cut it up a week and a bit ago. So these black lines here were kind of nice, and let me check to see that that's in focus. Oh, I don't even have my focus control on. Look at that. I am, like I said, just working this all out, and that is not going to come out for me. But there you go. But the black lines were there, but all this kind of yellow streaking through here and this really dark gray over here is all new. So this black staining down here on the outer bands. So it's quite amazing how quickly that changes. So we're going to mount this back up and put a tenon on it, and then I'll get my Max 4 bowl saver and we'll core this guy a little bit. So if you have questions about what I'm doing and stuff, or about the wood, it's silver maple, so that's why I think I said that already. So let me go back to comments here. Ken, good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Oh, there's Cindy's IRD time. So 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central. So that is a different time than usual, but it could be me. I'm maybe thinking wrong. So good stuff. Cindy, thanks for posting that, and hopefully y'all get onto that and get a newsletter and stuff from Cindy about that coming up, or me. So I've got the Elio drive on here, if you didn't notice. This is my drive center of choice for this kind of stuff. It's a Morse taper. It's got 2 screws on either side of the central pin. Central pin's adjustable by this set screw, and these are 1/4x20 screws, and they just screw in and out. So I've got the pin set back from the center pin, screw pin set back. And I've already had this on this Elio drive, so I know where it goes. And I've got a center point in the back here for my tailstock. So we'll bring that up, and we'll get it pinned back in place. There we go. That works. And if I can move this back over here, I'll grab this little handy dandy micro light, Cindy's LED micro light. I'm going to set that right up there so we can kind of see a bit more of this area. And I've got it spinning on just the central pin if I hold the headstock. I haven't set those screws yet. And so I'm going to put them, one thing I did not show is it had some rot. There's some really soft, punky stuff here. And if I take my awl, and it'll go in there quite a bit. So I know there's going to be some damage to this guy, but we'll see where it goes, how far it goes. But the rest of it looks solid. This side looks solid and stuff. So we know we have that to deal with. So I know that's across sort of the pith area. So I'm going to put the pins either side of that and screw them in. If I put them along the pith, maybe the pith is rotten. That's why this tree came down, by the way, because it was not in good health. And so there we are. We're setting those pins just by hand, the screw pins. And I'll just continue screwing them in. And I'll tighten this guy up a little bit. And those will snug up. I'm going to use my other hand because I can grip better with it. I'm using the rotation of the lathe, kind of grab the pin and then hold it still as it screws itself in with the lathe rotation. So that's good. I can't turn it by hand anymore. What I can do is crank the tailstock here and seat those a bit more. I have a space between the faceplate part and the pins. That's the way I want it. I want it to drive on the 3 pins, 1, 2, 3. And that's how this thing's going to drive. So I'm going to put a face shield on. I've got my safety glasses ready for when I'm done between centers. I typically have a powered respirator. This is a good time to talk about safety. I usually use this power cap powered respirator. It's got a battery in the back. when I'm turning by myself and not on air, so to speak. And simply because I don't want to breathe any of this stuff in, and I really should probably put it on for this mold and stuff that's kind of developed on here. So I may do that. We'll see when we get how much it's flying off. I've got a little wipe here just to wipe down my face shield. You can't really see that too much on camera except in the little view down below, but it's just a little alcohol wipe that just kind of cleans off the face shield. Disposable. All right, I've got a big gouge here, 5/8 bowl gouge we're going to use, and we'll zoom this out a little bit, and we'll use that to start. We'll set a tenon. I want to see how well balanced this is at this point. You bring that light. I wonder if I can loop that around there. That will hold it better. All right. Got power all the way down. Turn it on. Just check the tailstock. Turn the speed up a little bit. Where is that? It balanced pretty good. So I'm happy with that. So I could set the diameter of the tenon right now. I'm going to be using this chuck. It's the one-way stronghold with profile jaws, 4-inch profile jaws. Use my little radius gauge for marking the tenon. This is a little gauge that I've developed. It has a little hook on it to go over the 3/4 inch thread, and millimeter marks on the end here. So this is radius, this is diameter, so 100 millimeter jaws, 50 to 55 millimeter radius. So there's 55 and there's 50. So if I turn that on, you can kind of see. Maybe try this one. Well, that's not in focus. This is me not setting up fully. We do that for a second. There we go. All right, so that was just sitting there and spinning as we use it and mark. So here's 75 millimeters out there. So handy little gadget and useful for what I needed to do here. And that's kind of why I created it, was rough turning bowls. So now we can kind of cut this down to the right depth to get a tenon on there. The profile jaws are straight jaws, so we'll do a straight sided thing. Oh, Eddie, good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. It's been a long time. Hope you're doing well. So thanks for joining. So Cindy says, I'm wrong on the times. My IRD is 1 p.m. Eastern. Live stream is 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm confused today. Okay, that's it. Yeah, that's what I thought. So Friday live streams at 2 p.m. Eastern, but the Saturday demo next week is 1 p.m. Eastern. And tomorrow, Saturday, starts at 12 noon Eastern. So anyway, lots of times. All right. Thanks for the correction, Cindy. All right, here we go. Power on. Speed up a little bit. That's probably 1200. Check the tailstock. It's looking good. Standing out of the way. Cutting some nice soft maple. And let me zoom that one out a little bit and get that off the live stream. I am really not in show mode, so let me move that off there. I've been a little bit distracted. Let me put this one overhead there. A little bit distracted with other stuff, and I apologize. So, but this needed to get done, so I needed to do this topic, and we'll pick up on the topic I announced previously at another time. So there's the tenon, sawdust in there making noise. Just roughing out the perimeter again. Moving my feet. Not the best technique, but falling out of the cut there. All right, nice wet silver maple. Let me do a push cut this way. Remove it a bit quicker. This is really a dragging cut. It's almost a pull cut in a way, just using as a way to clear material quickly. Not a very clean cut. We'll go back, we'll do a full push cut and try and get this cleaned up. Fall out of that cut. Save that. Come around to the front and clean up here. So off to the other side of the lathe and just kind of taking that last little cut off there. I'm also going to soften the edge. I don't want to get myself cut on that. That front looks smooth enough. I don't need to do much there. So now let's finalize that tenon. We'll look at the surface. It's going to be a gorgeous bowl. I'm going to have this hole in it, unfortunately, but maybe I'll take that out. Who knows? But yeah, nice spalting on it. So let's move this around again. For tenons, I tend to use my little spindle gouge, and so that's what we'll use. This is just a simple little spindle gouge. Maybe I'll take that off and switch back to overhead and zoom in here. I think I need to refocus that. Just down here. And let me see if I can estimate where that is. All right. We have marks where we want to be. I have this little spindle gouge. It's kind of a pointy one, but I like that point. It's going to give me, if I wanted to do dovetail, it would give me a nice dovetail, just rotating it in like that. So you get that sort of angle to it as you rotate it. For a square or a straight-sided tenon, I just move the handle this way a bit more than this way. So, and it's just a rolling action to get that tenon cut. So here we are. Roll it in. And that bottom wing scrapes the tenon face. And one more time just to kind of show. Nice clean tenon there. Looks reasonably straight. I've got some fur here. I'll clean that off with this gouge as well. Just finish that scraping off to the side. All right. So now we are ready to mount this into our chuck. So let's do that. Put this out of the way. That's hitting there. That's why. And move that bowl gouge out of the way. Pull that away, and away we go. Knock this guy. Well, let's leave that in for a second. Let me just double check here. I might have to remove that tenon a bit more, which I didn't think about, but normally when these chuck jaws open up, and I'll show this in just a second. That's gripping, and I think if we, it's hard to see down in there, but maybe you can kind of see that end of the tenon right down the bottom there. It might be just a little bit too deep or too fat to go in the hole, so we could take care of that, but I think we're going to be okay. What we need to do is take a closer look down there. Yeah, I think the jaws are kind of butting up against that, so let me fix that before we go too far. Put this back up. This is a nice thing about the Elio drive. It goes right kind of back in where it's supposed to go, and should be just fine there. Power speed down. Load that back up in. Close enough. All I need to do is take this guy down a little bit. Grab that little spindle gouge. Should have done this when I was there. And just reduce that guy. That's all I needed to do. And we'll be set to go. So we're going to mount that onto, mount that into our 4-inch jaws. But before we do that, I want to set up the coring system. So I'm going to leave my center point in here for the moment. I'll back these guys off just a little bit. Don't need that on anymore. So Jim, good to have you here. And let me just, I got to use my left hand now. Up in Oregon, good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Yeah, it is kind of fantastic spalting, so very happy with that. So we're going to use the Max 4 system, which is a bowl saver product, bowl coring product from Woodcut. And it comes, it's a big system. It's meant for 2 horsepower and up lathes. You can maybe do a 1.5 horsepower lathe. Oh, that's really close. Back this up a little bit. So there's the thing. So I've got a tool post on there with a collar for adjusting the height. Goes right in the banjo. It's got this large platform and this swivel assembly on top that is on the pivot plate. There's a wear pad here that the blades sit on, and a Morse taper device that we'll look at here in just a second. That's going to go in the tailstock. So 2 points of contact with the bowl saver. This is the big brother to the small one, the bowl saver original. Same concept. So it has a swivel plate, has a wear pad, sits in the tool post, has a Morse taper device, blade clamp here, and this is just a bigger version of it. So from the side, let's see. And there's that view, and you can kind of see how this whole assembly kind of swivels there, and this whole plate swivels until you lock the tool post, the banjo. So what I want to do is load up a blade and check that I have the blade on center. So here's a blade, and if I look at overhead, the blade kind of slides through in this slot down here. You can see it poking out there. I'm going to leave it to where it's just exposed, or just fully seated, if you will. And then we'll tighten up these 3 hex head bolts on the top of the unit. So did I lose power to that? Why did that stop working? Oh. There we go. Yeah, that reset for some reason. So anyway, there's the system. So I'm now a little bit out of the way. Tighten these down. Just I'm kind of going around like you would, lug nuts on a tire, in sort of a pattern, if you will, around the circle a little bit each time. Doesn't take a whole lot to snug it up, but just so it's tight. And that looks good. That's nice and tight. So now let's kind of lock in the banjo. I gotta just move it so I can get my rotator handle around, my locking handle. We'll lock it there. I'll lock the banjo down, and we'll see. Move it to a point where the blade is, come back over here again. That's annoying that reset. That bothers me. So we've got these 2 points touching in the same plane. So this cutter, which is a stellite tip cutter, this trapezoidal shape here thing, is the cutting tip, and it's replaceable. You can silver solder those on. I show the medium blade. So this is the small blade. Here's the medium-sized blade, bigger radius, but it's got this stellite cutter, and it's silver soldered on there, so you can replace those. They're going to last you a long time. You'll go through, 400 or 500 bowls before you need to replace it. Sharpening is just by diamond hone. You can touch them on a CBN wheel, but be a very gentle touch. Just checking those, and those look good. If you need to adjust the height, undo the locking collar down here at the tool post, and then raise and lower as you need. So we're all set. I'd preset this up, so we're good to go there. So now I can pull that drive center out and put our chuck on and get ready to core. So let me so good question. Let's see, where is that? How does it compare to the one-way system? So so I did a demo, and one of the guys brought in his one-way system, brought in the McNaughton as well, and we did a little bit of a discussion talk on the differences and stuff. So I've never used the one-way system, but I've talked to many people that have, and have the gist of what it does. So the one-way system is going to have a clamping bed that's going to clamp on your bedways. So you have a beefy, for lack of a better term, a banjo plate that basically sits on your bedstock. Locks down. You got wrenches to tighten that down. On that, you've got 2 posts. One is fixed, and the other one's adjustable. The fixed one, I think you put the blade in the fixed one, set it where you want to core, bring the adjustable one, and that adjustable one is for a support. So basically you have the one-way system sits as a blade kind of sitting out in space and then on a post, and that's all one unit. And then you got another post with a blade support that rides underneath here. So that's their system. It's basically 2 posts you have to adjust to get riding in the cut you want, and that's all the support you have. Just the base plate mounted to the bed, 2 posts, one for the blade, one for the support system. So they basically do the same thing. It's an arced blade, radius arc of some sort that cuts a radial path in one direction, or one path. The McNaughton system is handheld in a way. It has a banjo capturing system, and then you kind of steer the blade where you want it to go in a way. So the McNaughton is probably more versatile overall, but very difficult to master or use. Most woodturners I've talked to have a problem using them. People that have used them for years, like Mike Mahoney, have no problem with them and stuff. So they're a good system. The one-ways, And this bowl saver, so this retails for $899. Free shipping if you do go get one. And the one-way equivalent size system is going to be at least that much. So this system comes with 3 blades. Small does between 3 and 7 inches. The medium blade does 12 and up to probably 15, 16, and then the large blades will do up to 18 inch. So here is the large blade, medium blade, and let me get myself off there for a second. So medium blade, small blade, medium, and large blade. So you can see we're not going to be using the large blade today. This thing is just not necessarily big enough to use it. So I'm going to set up now, and I'm going to switch to a different view to show. Let's see, that went back to, well, that's the right one. We'll show this setup kind of as an overall view of the system in front of me, showed the tailstock. What I have also is this tailstock Morse taper is going to fit into the tailstock. So I'll bring up the tailstock. I'm going to wind it out a bit so I have a bit more room. So we'll wind out the quill a couple inches or thereabouts, snug up the tailstock a little bit there. And it also has a drawbar that's going to go through the tailstock end and screw into the end of that Morse taper device. So this just adds another step of rigidity and things don't loosen and come apart. So that's set. Tighten up that little screw back there. And that's snugging this up. So now, if I loosen the banjo, I loosen the tailstock, this whole unit kind of slides as one. My dust collection hose is stuck on a magnet on the banjo, so that's why that's moving. But that's all one unit now, sort of thing. This clamp lever here underneath, and I wonder if that, yeah, that might be the view to see. This clamp lever under here allows this tailstock accessory to kind of swing into whatever position you need it to, depending on how you set the platform. So if we look at overhead, I can move this platform to where I'm close to the face of the turning, right? And my pivot point, if I pull my banjo back a little bit, is right in line with the axis of the lathe. So that's kind of, a typical position you might use, and you can lock this handle down. And I got to go the other way because I'm upside down, and that would be locked in. So, and then you'd lock the banjo and the tool post, and you're all locked in, set to go. That's not locked down. Sorry. That's all locked in. So that's solid. That would work. What's going to happen is where's the travel going to go? So where is the blade going to go? How do you visualize that? So the unit comes with some cardboard templates that reach over from the pivot point to a point where you're going to go with the thing. And I'm going to switch this around. Why didn't that do that? There we go. Switch this around this way, and I will move it down this way. I've got a post here. This is bent, by the way. So it's going to wobble a little bit. I bent one, so I have to use it for demonstrations. It's got a little mast up here. So it's just a little plastic mast with 3 holes in it. 4 actually, 1 for the post. And then I've got a little laser light. So this little laser light's going to go up in here, and it's going to put a dot there. And that's going to swing right across. I don't know if I can see my laser dot there. Is, oh yeah, I see this is bent a little bit. So it's right on the blade. You can't see it down there because I'm parallaxed, but it's right there on the edge of the blade. If I put my finger, it's hard to see. You can kind of see it going across the blade there. When I get down here, this mast is in the way. So anyway, this shows you the path that the cut's going to take, right? So if I right about there. So we'll end up right about there with this first core, debating whether to do 2 or 3 bowls. So I think I'll do 3. I'll do the small one and kind of get rid of the middle. I don't think I'll use the middle for much, but it'll save me from turning it away. So in order to adjust where I want to go, I can move this whole pivot point this way, but I really shouldn't move it this way. If I move the pivot point, let me loosen this and move this pivot point. So now this pivot point is off center. When I turn this arc, I'm not going to finish cutting. I won't be able to cut all the way, right? So if you're going to move the pivot point, move it back and move it that way, and you should be safe to go. So I'll loosen the banjo, pull the whole thing back, move the plate around this way, and now I'm going to be cutting a more shallower arc, or shallower part of the arc, less of a circle. And the other thing I want to do is figure out, let's do this one, where my bowls want to go. So let's map that out first. But now you got an idea of the adjustments we're going to make. We're going to make pivot point move. We're going to make the blade move this, pivot point back and maybe that way, and then twisting the plate. Twisting the plate off center, like we have an angle here, also gives us a shallower bowl and stuff like that. So things we can do to make different cuts. So let's first of all figure out where we're going to cut our bowls. I want about 1 inch on the outer bowl. This is, by the way, I don't even know, didn't really measure it. How big is this thing? It's about 11 and a half, 12 inches. 11 and a half. So we'll leave a full inch for the outer bowl, which will be about there. I'm just guesstimating. That kerf will be about that wide, maybe a bit wider. So that leaves our second bowl maybe not quite as thick, maybe there. And its kerf about there. So, and we can leave that one pretty shallow, pretty thin. So we'll do our inner bowl there. So I want to use this small blade and aim for that target first, which is hard to see, but it's right in here. So I'll set it up. I'll aim it that way. Maybe move it a bit closer and get it about there. I want to actually maybe pivot that more of a shallow bowl. And right there looks good. That looks good. We'll lock this down. We'll tighten this guy up a little bit. We'll get the laser out and see that we're only going to make, my battery's dying, a very shallow cut on the backside. So that's fine with me. I just want to get rid of the middle part. This kind of just shows you that you can cut shallow bowls as well as, full arc radius bowls. So, okay, so let's, let me turn that. I don't need that. I'll put that there. Let's see, we got to lock this down. Lock that down, that down, that down. This guy is solid, so I need a handle. So I've got a handle here. It comes with a handle, by the way. It has a very large ProMaster handle that I find too big. So there in the inset, you can see it's about a 20-inch handle. That's going to go on this little spigot here at the end. But I find it just way too long, way too big. So I'm just using one of my handles. It's a 5/8 inch spigot, so it doesn't take a whole lot to control this thing. Oh, what I should do, I didn't do, is before I do this, I'm going to turn the safety off. Okay, there's the safety interlock is off, so it's like unplugging the power. I'm going to reach over and change my belt speed to the low pulley. So this is a bit awkward with all this gear around here. I'm unclamping the motor, lifting the motor. Oh, yeah, that handle gets in the way. And moving the belt. So move it over to low speed, high torque pulley. And let the motor back down. Lock that back in. Lock that up. And that is done. So now we're in low speed mode. I'm going to turn off the interlock. And we are set to start cutting. I'm cutting right there. So I put it in low speed mode because you want all the torque you can get. So if you do have a low speed pulley, higher torque pulley, put it in that one. The speeds we're going to go through are probably 300, 350 to start, up to about 650 to finish if we need to go that fast. So you'll see as we go through, and let me just catch up for let's see, Larry had a question. How do you determine which blade to use? It's basically, the size of the core. So this is going to be about a 4-inch bowl I'm doing in the middle. And if I kind of see that size, and then this side, I'll probably put the medium blade on for these two outer ones, because I can get up to a 12-inch bowl out of the medium blade. Anything beyond 12 inches, you'd want to get the large blade. And so it's kind of experience and practice. There's some guidelines in the manual that help you determine that. So good question, though, Larry. Thank you. And I missed one up here. Cindy, what's the difference between the Bowl Saver and the Max 4? The size, oops, sorry about that. I clicked that accidentally. The size of the platform. So this platform is massive. Its undercarriage is quite well casted. It's heavy duty. The smaller one is smaller. It's plate steel on plate steel. It's noticeably smaller. It's made for the smaller the original is good for, you might be able to get away with it 1 horsepower, but probably not. 1.5 horsepower, 12 to 16-inch lathes for the original. 20 inch and up. So any Powermatics or any Laguna is maybe 18 inches or 20 inches up. You're going to use the Max 4, and you're going to require 2 horsepowers or so for this guy. So bigger lathes for this guy, smaller lathes for the original. It doesn't really work on a mini lathe. You can try it, but the small one would probably, we do make posts that small, but I don't know. I don't know if I'd try it on like a 12-inch mini, like a jet mini lathe. Might work. I just haven't done it. All right, let's get going. We got 15 minutes to core out 3 bowls, which we can do. We can do it. Is the wood wet? Yes. Good question, Charlie. Thanks for asking. It is wet. This one in particular is wet. This was cut down actually a year ago, but kept in log form and cut up just a week and 10 days ago. And so it feels cool to the touch. You'll see the inside's going to be wetter than the outside as we go through it. And so wet wood is much easier to core than dry wood. You can do dry wood. It's just it's a bit of a chore. So I don't know if I really set this up right. We'll leave it there. I think I already set everything and stuff. I'm a little gap here, but we'll just go ahead and do it. It'll be fine. We'll cut a small core. I've got safety glasses on because I'm going to be standing back here out of the way. So we are at about let's start at 340, 350, somewhere in there. So you could, if you wanted to, put a tenon on this guy before you start so that you can grab that core and with a chuck afterwards. So something to think about. But this is really kind of a waste wood for me. I probably won't do anything with this little core. I'm going to turn the speed up now. As you start turning that corner, you start cutting end grain. And the sawdust, the chips change to more sawdust instead of like full chips. So something to keep in mind. As long as the chips are clear and fine, I don't retract. But if they do get caught, I will pull it back. And so I'll pull it back a little bit, come back in. What I do like to keep is this shadow line or the sawdust line. That tells me when I'm there, I'm just about to contact. And so I don't slam it into there and make that sudden jerky movement. So, and the pitch changes. I can hear this is getting close to being done. We'll just cut it right through. And it just drops off the backside. So there is a good view. Maybe this one might even be a little bit better if I bring it over this way. Sorry for that movement. But you can kind of see that it cores out really quite well. Nice clean cut. And that little guy is right there. So not much to it. That's really junk. But it gives me an idea of what the wood looks like inside. And it is wet. Pretty much all the way through. But I do have this branch. So that's what that is. It's some sort of branch coming out of this. Oh, it's not going that way. It's going, I don't know what that is. That's a branch that comes straight up out of there. So I was thinking it was this rotten piece back here, but it's not. I don't know where that goes. Might go the other way. Anyway, let's set up and do the other one. So we'll change blades. I'll unlock the banjo, unlock the tailstock. We'll move this whole thing back. And so we can kind of get at, let me just do this guy and kind of see what I'm doing here and from an overall perspective. Oh, wrong way, Todd. Lefty loosey. All right. The handle kind of gets in the way sometimes of undoing these nuts or bolts. But you can easily take that off. All right, I think we're loose enough to pull this guy out. And medium blade goes in the medium slot, or the middle slot, and slides in just like the other one until we get to where it's just poking out back here. And we'll set that up, tighten it up. And away you go. Let's see. I want to see a mini coring system for mini lathes that can do 12, 4, and 6. Yeah. Horsepower is the thing, right? So if your mini lathe has enough torque and horsepower, that's really the limiting factor to coring, because you are creating a lot of friction and stuff as your blade goes through there. The blade itself is wider than the blade body, and so that helps. And most systems are like that. You'll see on the large blade, it's a compound curve, so it's curving this way, but the blade is also curved this way to conform to the shape of the cut. Basically a spherical section. So let's move this back into position. Let's loosen this tailstock clamp. And I always forget, because I'm upside down, which way. Let me just make sure I finish this. I got it in my hand. I think I finished clamping that down. There we go. Yep. All right. So unclamp that guy. So now we can move this plate independent of the tailstock and bring the blade back to sort of starting position. Line it up with that I'll come back a little bit there. So my pivot point is way off axis, but it's on the plus side, so I'll be able to core, no problem. I'll get the laser guide and see. I've got kind of a hard stop at just after 2, so we're in the medium hole now because we're on the medium blade. And so I'm going to pull that back a little bit, quite a bit actually. So we will pull the banjo back, angle this plate so we get a shallower cut, and cutting there. And so that should be good. We're now got a couple inches down here. Yeah, that'd be one cut there and one cut there. So that'll work. I think that should work. All right, so let's go with that. Lock that down. Lock that down. Lock the tailstock down. And lock this guy. So now we're locked in. Everything's set to go. That's clamped. Speed down. That all the way up. Come up to about 340. And we'll cut our second bowl. And let me just get my views back a little bit. What does this one look like? No. That one. This is a pre-production unit, and I should... Where'd that... Oh, it's in here. This blade doesn't sit around the wear pad like the other ones do. And I need to try and compensate for that a little bit. All the... this unit is, like I said, pre-production, so it's had that flaw and this thing. All the ones coming out of the factory and the ones we have in stock have resolved this problem. So I just need to push the blade down onto the wear platform and then clamp this up. And that helps a lot with how this thing rides on the wear platform, because that noise you heard was the vibration of it not being really supported. So if that doesn't work, we'll just grind through it with the noise. Oops. So that's one thing to assess, is if it's making noise, why is it making noise? And in this case, because this isn't sitting properly on the wear pad. Once it gets in a little bit, it starts to seat better. A little bit more speed. I'm using my hand to push down on the blade. That's what you're seeing me do. A little bit more speed. We're around that corner. Closer to 500 RPM. Here it comes. There we go. Fairly good cut as well. Oh, that guy went down below. There we go. All right, that was a good core. Snapped off at the end. I was pushing a little too hard, but that's fine. It's nice and even, which is nice. I like that. So that's good core. Maybe I'm wondering if I can grab. Where's that other one? I'll put it over there. So I'm digging into the box of the smaller blade bowl saver. I'll bring up the platform. You can kind of see the difference in the size of the platform and stuff. So let's see, take that off. Here is the original bowl saver. So it orients like that. Pivot point is smaller. The attachment of the tool post is threaded right there. It's a steel plate with a reinforcing bar and another steel plate that slides on top of it. So you can see there's a massive difference in the mass, I guess. So that's why that is. I'm going to load up its medium blade. The small blade and the medium blade that come with the original are the same size as the big one. So the same blades. So I'm going to see if that mitigates some of the bounce we're hearing for this last core. And again, it's due to this not sitting directly on the wear pad. And I'm thinking it's a machining issue that they had resolved in the base plate or in this clamp block. So, but that was 3 years ago now, 2022. This guy came out. So let me remove that one. I'll put that in the Max 4 box. I'll grab this one. I'll put it in the clamp block and hold it down on the platform. Yeah, it's raising up, so it's got the same issue. So it's the clamp block that was the issue, but we will do that, and we shall mitigate this with a little something over here. I'm breaking off a little sliver of wood. To slide up in there and be that wear pad. You won't have to do this if you get one, if you have one. So, but that will help mitigate that. So let's move banjo, loosen the banjo and this guy, and just pull this unit free of that tailstock capture. And might have to move the banjo just to get this closer. And that's cutting on point there. We're matched up right there. Let me actually put that on that one. So we're matched up on our line there. Line is kind of gone, but it's there. And laser light. We're still on the medium blade. So we are now looking at there. So I actually want to get a bit closer. So I'll loosen this, and bring the pivot point in a bit. That's too much. Bring it back a little bit. Maybe just a bit more. That looks good. That leaves about an inch down there. So, all right. I'm running a little bit over, but we'll finish this up and we'll be done here shortly. So tighten the tailstock, tighten the tail, oops, wrong way. Tighten the banjo, the tool post, tighten the tailstock lever, tighten that back up. That kind of came loose. There we go. Locked, on target. Got our wear pad. Speed down. At about 340. Much better with that wear pad. A little bit more speed. The chips come out nice and long and curly with this sort of face grain cutting. You'll see these change to shorter chips as we get around the corner. I'll clean out some of these chips. The blade gets hot, so be careful where you put your fingers. You get that wear pad under there. A little extra wear pad. A little bit more speed. A little bit more speed. You can see now the chips are shorter. Well, this one's kind of hard to tell with this bowl. It's so wet. They're still coming out quite long. I pulled the wear pad out, but I still need it. So that's what that lousy noise was. So we'll get that under there and back in there. Let's clear those chips. Just cleaning out some chips that are down in there. Sneak up quietly or slowly onto where your cut begins so you don't have a sudden jar. We're getting some nice black and white shavings out. All that spalting in there. Kind of crazy. The tone is changing. I know we're getting close. It should come any second now. Hopefully I'm not yelling too loud, but Let's see if we can break it. Yeah, we can break it off. So there we go. So down to about a 1/2 inch tenon at the bottom there. Let's see that guy. Probably show where the blade ended up and the little leftover remnants. So that was a great bowl core, that one. So again, very nice, even thickness all the way through. So that'll be a pretty bowl. Look at that. That'll be nice. So 1, 2, and 3 bowls, and all from the bowl savers. Let me just unlock that. Unlock that. Pull the whole unit back. And before I take that off, I'm curious. I'm sure you are. Can I get that in there? I'll do it kind of a little off center, but oh yeah, a good 3/4, 1/2 inch, or 3/4 to an inch of depth on the bottom. So let's see. I'm glad I was able to get this done today, because any longer, and this would have been a waste of wood. All right, so there we go. Where am I at? No, there we go. Right there. Let me catch up on the comments. Let's see. Boy, I moved. Yeah, so Cindy, I keep thinking I need a coring system one of these days. Okay, one of these days, let me know. You mean to say you don't have, Cindy? No, that's one tool she doesn't have. Let's see. Sorry if I missed. Are you able to put carbide blades on the tip of this tool? And let me get down here. The tip of this tool is soldered on, so not yet. I think Woodcut is working with Mike Hunter on his system. Don't quote me on that. That's up to Dan and his business, whether he wants to do that. But that has been discussed. So not at this point. They're not replaceable. They're stellite, which is a very, very hard tool steel, one of the hardest out there. It's used in the timber industry in Australia. So cutting all those burls and trees and stuff is what they use this on. So good question. Let's see, Wayne, what is a long one? It would be nice if there was an easy way to cut an internal small rebate or groove on a freshly cut surface for initial mounting of cord balls without having to remove the entire setup. So that's a good point, Wayne. So when I had, let me just kind of show it briefly here. If I have this guy back up there, most professional core or bowl makers like Mike Mahoney and a few others would core this outside bowl first, right? Get this one, save it. It's the money maker. It's the big bowl you want to keep and save. What you could do is and I could do still, is after I cored this one, I could take the Max 4 out, pin this way in there with the tail center, turn a tenon or a recess or something on here. So you can use this as a way of jam chucking your bowl cores and stuff. So something to think about. I haven't done that. I'll just let these dry and then put them between centers somehow. So that's something to think about for sure. Good question. Let's see. I have to move down now. Charlie's getting rid of his. He doesn't use it. Charlie had a woodcut years ago. So Cindy's looking to buy it. Okay, good stuff. UK. So love the laser light. It's very handy. It is kind of an expensive add-on. It's like $120 or something like that. Hi, Tim. Good to have you here. Thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Peter says, Todd, when setting the depth of the knife, can you use tailstock wheel to fine tune? Not really, because you need to keep this edge of the whole base unit. Let me take that off. Of this whole base unit away from the face. You don't want it rubbing, and the tailstock winding would push the whole thing that way. So you might be able to do it. I've just kind of finagled it around, but the tailstock support is really just to suck that Morse taper in and give that back of the platform, this back of the platform, some support and stuff. So move it up here, we can kind of see a bit better. So loosening this off, and if I just do that, actually I don't need to do that. I need to loosen this, loosen the banjo, and if I wind, I do have to loosen off the Morse taper, or sorry, the drawbar, and wind the tailstock. You can kind of see it's moving the platform. So undoing so that would give you some minute movements, but probably not to the point where this is in the right place. Something to think about, though. Something to try. Who else have I got? John. Would you do this coring to a burl or too jumpy chippy? Yeah, you could do it to a burl. If it's wet, it's going to be easy enough, just like wet wood. If it's dry, I don't know that I would try it. Shoot Andy Cole a question and see what he does. I don't know. He's in Hawaii. He does a lot of coring of burls and stuff. Or Mike, maybe they know. Of course, I think they use the McNaughton system, so it might be a different experience. But yeah, if you're going to core, I 100% suggest wet wood. I've done dry wood. It just takes longer. It's a lot louder. And one thing you could do, John and others, is let me take this off and give me some more room to kind of show this cutter. Is this cutter here, you could put a negative rake on it. So I would take a hone. Oops, got my magnet there with it. Well, that's a strong magnet. Oh, good Lord. And hone right now, to sharpen this guy, you kind of hone that front. And let me just move this back this way a little bit. Just hone this front. This is a bit awkward. I'm not really doing it properly, but just hone it back and forth, maybe a circular motion. I can't really do it with my left hand. And then you could put a top bevel on it, a little negative rake. That's going to help you with the dry hardwoods. So that's something to think about. That's in the manual as well. You can read about that in the manual. But good question. Thanks, Todd. Lunch is over. Good job. Yeah, it is. I gotta run here pretty quick. So what time is it? 18. I got 10 minutes. Todd, how was the bowl blank to start with? How was the bowl blank was wet, and like I said, cut down a year ago. The tree was, but kept in log form for a year. Cut that log a week 10 days ago, and so they're wet. You can feel it. It's damp inside. The chips came out nice and curly all the way through. So yeah, so that's I think that's in this thing is about 11.5 inches in diameter, and now about an inch thick all the way through. So yeah, and then of course the 1, 2, 3 other cores. Where does that spongy bit go? Because on the there it is there on the inside of the bowl. There it is there on the second bowl, and it's solid here. So there's a little bit of sponginess in the center, but it's not really showing up on the inside. So that tells me it exited somewhere. On this one, it looks like it's like a puzzle. I think it was there, so it would have been right about here, but it's not there. So it exited somewhere, and then of course that little scrap guy. So I don't know if you saw all that. I kind of zoomed out. Kevin, thanks, Todd. I'm looking forward to seeing the finished bowls. Looks like they have quite a nice bit of wood. Nice job. Good that you didn't wait to lose that nice bolting. Yeah, it was close. Mike cores lots of burls. Good. Peter, I like the woodcut concept, but I have the McNaughton system. Set up my laser from Monster hollowing system on the McNaughton to see where my knife tip is at all times. Makes it easy and precise. Oh, nice. You have to post to that, Peter. I keep a small faceplate around to the coring side, as well as our core just replace chuck with faceplate. And yeah. So yeah, you could, like I said, on this first one, you could, this almost looks like a tenon, but it wasn't intended to be a tenon on this guy. But you could put a tenon on the outside, and that way, if you core the big one first, you've got a tenon to hold to spin around on a chuck, or as Ronald said, put a faceplate on there and spin it around and put it in there, and then turn your tenon, remount, and go. So if you got 2 lathes, that makes it easy because you set one up for coring, turn around, put it on the lathe, and put the tenon on, turn around, back around, put it on the core. So another reason to buy another lathe. So keep that in mind, Ronald. It could get expensive. All right, folks, that's going to be it. Let me just, Cindy, do you want to hop in and say hi? So,
hi.
Are you? So you're talking like you might get a coring system. That's exciting.
Well, I've always thought that would be a good thing to learn how to do, and not like I do tons of bowls, but when I get a nice piece of wood, I just feel like I should make some bowls out of this, and to turn the whole thing into chips. You know what I would have done on that one is I wouldn't have done that last little core, because the tiniest core, I mean, I'd have left the center kind of like you core out a solid piece, then you could make a box or something out of that part.
Yeah, that's true. You could have made a
or actually what you could do is you could make a lid for that bowl out of there.
Make a lid. So that might be doable, by the time I
maybe
turn this down.
Oh, we'll be excited to see this project.
Or that one as a lid to that bowl.
Yeah. Todd's next IRD.
Yeah, who knows? Could be. But yeah, well, thanks for joining. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody else, for joining. Let's say good day, and everybody have a good weekend. Be safe and be kind to one another. Bye for now. I'll find that button.